Oh, don't click off the video. You haven't even heard me out yet. I need you to level with me really quickly. Yes, the title is very, well, it is very what it is. NBA fans are stupid. But you're not stupid because you're dumb. You're stupid because you're trying to be smart. Hold on. That sounds stupid, but hear me out. NBA fans are not actually dumb. I'm pretty sure that most NBA fans actually know what they want and they see it. But the way they articulate what they want is functionally dumb. Yes, NBA fans might be the most nostalgic sports fans on the entire planet, and I can't deny that one. NBA fans miss eras and stuff like it's so freaking easy to replicate what they saw back then. And they also love comparing their players from today's era to the next era. Because there's less positions on the floor, this leads to you easily thinking that you can compare X player from Y era and B player from Z era, right? But the problem with that isn't just the fact that most NBA fans don't know what the word context is. The problem is how you use the context to boost your argument instead of just appreciating what you have in front of you. The NBA product has not gotten worse over time. I don't believe that the actual basketball hasn't gotten any better. I think the basketball is at its best. I think that it's gotten so complex that most NBA fans don't understand what they're watching at a surface level. Now, I will say there are very smart NBA fans that are very capable of breaking down the game at a high level, and they understand it from a spectator's view. I think there's a certain point that our certain NBA fans actually understand the game better than most players can. And it's not because they have a better intellect or basketball IQ than these players. I'm saying they're simply watching and dissecting basketball at a higher level than some people play it. And I'll be honest, I also watch basketball at a higher level than I play it. It's so much easier for me to watch and dissect what is going on and see what's going on in the game and understand why the result of the game happened than it is for me to actually play basketball. This is because, despite how I may look, being black is not an additional bonus to being good at basketball. Just like being white doesn't make you better at shooting. I won't explain which thing I'm referencing. You just have to take me at face value. But anyway, why do NBA fans do this? Why do NBA fans associate better bygone eras with previous times? And it's not just nostalgia, because the eras do feel functionally different. And I don't mean emotionally, I mean they look different, they play different, and it was easier to understand what was going on with these other teams. And I know a lot of people like to say that teams are very homogenous now, but I'd also like to point this out too. They have always been pretty homogenous, and the only times you see something, and the things that you see in eras that you're really familiar with and the teams that you really like, are actually, unless you actually just functionally look at them and go, this team is an outlier because they're winning championships, you probably don't understand them, to be quite honest. Because the teams that were winning championships always have played against the grain of the style of basketball that is going to become the next era. This is due to the fact of them having to build it while they're playing it. The reason the triangle offense of the Jordan Bulls looks and feels so nostalgic is because it worked really well and it helped them win championships. And the reason why you look over at Phil Jackson's later teams and you're able to understand why the triangle functionally could not work in 2013 and why it was a terrible idea, and I have no idea why he tried to run it. You're also able to realize that something more important than that. That Dolan might just be an incompetent owner. Okay, Knicks fans, I've got your pansies in a bunch, but hold on. I just wanted to tease Knicks fans. The triangle offense worked well in the 90s for a multitude of reasons. One, they had Michael Jordan running it. Two, I mean, seriously, look at the other offenses in the 90s. Most of them are heavy post offenses. The Knicks, Raptors, most of the 90s teams. The pick and roll that you see out in Utah, despite the fact that these players played forever together and made the playoffs almost all of their career, they have more first round exits than they have conference finals appearances. They have more first round exits than they have second round entrances. It's kind of gross. A lot of the stuff that you see in basketball, and it's also really why it's hard for modern NBA fans to actually appreciate previous views of the game, because it has changed so much. The thing about the thing about most of the other sports in the league is they're not dynamic sports, in my opinion. Football, for example, the NFL, and this is going to be the obvious example because I don't know anything about baseball and I can't tell you how much baseball has improved. It's Most of baseball's improvements are surface level things that you can't really see as a fan. The NFL. So look, I know all of us have agreed in the recent years that the NFL has gone soft. You can't go out and fucking try and kill your opponent anymore. There are no Ray Lewises in the league. There are no star linebackers absolutely blindsiding wide receivers unless their quarterback throws what is politely called a hospital ball. If you don't know what a hospital ball is, it's basically when your quarterback just hates you. Why do I say your quarterback hates you? Oh, they throw you a pass in like the worst possible angle. So your vision is right here. You're catching the ball. You're like, okay, good. I'm gonna bring it to my chest and catch it. But what you don't know is there's a corner cutting from the other side of the field, and he's about to crack you in your back so hard that you're gonna be in the hospital for a couple of days. And mind you, these are not little love taps, buddy. He's coming to take your neck off. Whereas though in the NBA, now I'm not gonna lie, even if your fucking point guard throws you a pass that's inopportune, you're not going to get clotheslined. NBA fans like to romanticize the pass so much that they actually just don't know what they're talking about at a certain point. Like for example, They like to pretend that the Bad Boy Pistons were how every team treated Jordan, when that's functionally not true. We like to pretend that the East was at its best when Jordan played in it. That's also not true. Players become myths and legends so much that when you give them even a small amount of scrutiny, you can't really criticize them the way you want to. And then LeBron has the exact opposite problem, where he's played in the social media era, and yeah, certain parts of his careers are getting glossed over in a myth. I'm not gonna lie, I don't think modern NBA fans realize how bad 2011 is. Like, I've recently watched a lot of recaps of that era. I don't think people realize how bad 8 points in the finals and 0 attempts in clutch time is. Like, he had 0 attempts in the clutch time, not 0 makes. Sometimes 0 makes is true as well, but 0 attempts, that's unacceptable from who's supposed to be your best player. Now there are context that's missing from that. Like, obviously it was Dwayne Wade's team, and they had to tell LeBron, hey dude, this is your team, you are supposed to be the guy. Just because you came to Miami doesn't mean D Wade has to be the guy. And also, we ignore 2015 LeBron's many glaring flaws, like the fact that he had played with spacing so long that he honestly forgot how to be one of the greatest slashers ever, with or without it. He also played through some injuries that season, but let's be honest, it was a mixture of both of those things. That never gets talked about, because we all know the end result. LeBron goes to the finals, and without any help, he drags the team that would go on to win 73 games the very next season. Mind you, that team was not as good as they would be in the next season, to 6 games, right? That doesn't tell the entire story, now does it? I think Kobe's gotten the exact opposite problem, where it's like you have a mixture of certain fans are pushing this agenda even though they don't believe that Kobe is actually the GOAT, because they want to distance themselves from LeBron even further. Or you have the exact opposite. LeBron fans are so tired of motherfuckers putting him above him that they've decided he is not in the top 10. And if you're one of those fans on either end of the spectrum, please stop. I genuinely might think you fans are stupid, but I'm going to say generally NBA fans have an idea of what they're watching. They want to know what they're watching. Another thing about NBA fans, we gotta let go of this idea that all we already know that all championships don't hold the same weight, but we don't know that all losses hold different weight as well. We like to imagine that certain players losing sometimes it's just not their fault and it was inevitable. In the cases of many superstars like LeBron James, yes, it's true. But Wilt Chamberlain is not one of them, and we need to stop pretending like he's a top 10 player of all time. It has been 50 plus years since he was in the NBA, and modern fans seem to just give him a pass for all of his shortcomings, like the fact that there was very little competition in terms of just quality teams, let alone the quantity of teams. And he failed to win but 2 championships. Meanwhile, Bill Russell has 11 of them, and this somehow doesn't put Bill Russell automatically above Wilt, because Wilt put up stats and didn't win anything for the most part. Also, in those winning seasons where he won those championships, his numbers look completely different. So, yeah, no offense to be fans, but you are sometimes pretty fucking dumb. Now, if you disagree with anything that I've said in this video, you can like, comment, subscribe, and you'll tell me exactly how you don't like what I said in the video in the comment section below. There's going to be one of the relatively short videos, because I thought that the spur of the moment made this video feel better. Bye-bye.